What's up, guys? You're here at the Fish Bluewater channel, and I was just getting ready to do one of my daily routines with some baits that we have pinned up in the backyard here, and I thought, man, this would be a cool video to share some information with you guys. So this is going to be a quick little kind of informational fishing video talking about live bait, saltwater offshore bait, goggle-eyes, threadfin herring, sardines, things of that nature that you might want to catch, pin up for longer periods of time to be able to use them, you know, weeks, if not months down the road. And one of the advantages of that, if you have water in your backyard or if you have access to a place where you can store bait, the longer that you keep bait in a pen, and if you are feeding it properly with some good nutrients, high protein, good fat content, things of that nature, it really hardies up the bait, helps build up a thicker, heavier slime coat, that just makes them a stronger bait, which of course you'd expect to perform better for you in the water, last longer, thrive, friskier, that kind of stuff. So we're about to show you a few things that we use and how we use them here on a daily basis for feeding bait. So let's dive in. All right, so what do I have in front of me? I've got a few different options, and a lot of it is governed by, like, what do I have available to me? First thing and foremost, this is something that I'll use on a regular basis after the bait has been in the pen long enough to get them feeding on natural food. This is a dry bait. Actually picked this up at Custom Rod and Reel, just around the corner. Most of your local tackle shops should have it. I believe Bass Pro carries some form of it as well. So you'll even see on the packaging on the outside here, we've got blue runners, we've got goggle eyes, we've got threadfin herring, looks like even a lane snapper. This is a slow sinking bait. It's gonna have some good protein, some good fat content. Got a little bucket that I keep it here sealed, keep the moisture out. Even just looking in my hand here, you can see it's almost kind of like pelletized. So this is a great bait, easy access, especially if you're busy during the week. You want to get the baits fed in the morning. I like to feed my bait twice a day, morning, late afternoon, after work, whatever the case may be. But usually when you introduce baits from the wild into a pen, at least on my experience, I've found it takes anywhere from a few days to a week to get them to settle in. The stress that comes from moving, you know, ocean boat into a well just takes them a few days to settle in, and normally it takes them longer to adjust to like a pelletized bait like this. So in between that, and certainly also together with the dry food, I also like to use natural bait source, which could be anything from fresh fish to what I have right here in front of me, which is basically a block of krill shrimp that I have been defrosting. This will be plenty to get me through several feedings. Probably, if I portion this out well enough, get at least a week or so use out of that. And again, this would be something I would start with to try and get the bait fish feeding a little sooner, and then slowly start introducing the dry food in. This here, obviously, is the top side of a blender. I use this as well, like particularly when I know that I've got baits penned up. Anything that's coming over the boat, even if I'm not keeping it for the dinner table, like bonita, what we don't use for bonita strips, anything. You could chop up barracuda, kingfish, etc., fresh fish, little chunks, or chop it up. You know, this is, let me also just, full disclosure, this is not the blender we use for cooking in the house. This stays in the garage. This is just for the bait, and it's a quick and easy way to process some bait to get some food in the pen. So I've got one other thing literally in my back pocket that I'll show you right before the end, which most people wouldn't think of, but it also can be a handy, quick tool. Also a great food source for the bait if you don't have any fresh fish, you haven't gotten back to the tackle shop to grab some krill, and or the dry food's out, or your bait's not taking to the dry food yet. So we're gonna move over here to the bait pens, and these guys have been in the pen for about 3-4 weeks, so they're very settled in and they love their feeding time, so check it out. Normally I wouldn't even open that lid because we've got mesh on the other side, but just for demonstration purposes, I feel like it'll be easier for you guys to see what we got going on. I'm gonna start, guys, with the dry food just so you can see. These are baits that have been in for, again, I'd say on the better part of 3 weeks now in these pens, and pretty much anything that we put in the pen, they're ready to rock on. And as the camera should show, these are super healthy, great baits. Actually got these from Troy. Shout out to Troy at Gets the Bait. Just tight schedule, didn't have the time to catch any myself. Had a couple of slower trips, and so I grabbed some bait from him, and bait has been good quality stuff. So here we go. Should even be able to hear him coming up and sucking that down just like largemouth bass. And you can see these little pellets here. Some of them are staying up on the surface, but a lot of it's just from the movement of the water and getting pushed up from the goggle eyes coming up and feeding on them. These are mostly gogs in here, guys, and a few threadfin herring. We did have a couple of bottom baits that we took out with us on the last trip that did their job, and then whatever we hooked got eaten by sharks. You'll see on an upcoming video. But this is the dry stuff. Let me push this other well out here a little bit and get the guys next door. Normally, I would say on average, whether it's dry food, a mix of fresh fish or some krill, I'd say probably in a morning and a cup morning, a cup in the evening, thereabouts. You know, serving size of this, I'll probably go through about half of that size each time I feed the bait. The bait will also kind of give you a little bit of an indication. You start to see them slowing down a little bit on their feeding, you know. Obviously there's no need to overfeed them. Just enough to keep them healthy and strong. All right, guys, so you'll see this other pen. I'm gonna leave the lid on. And actually we have a video down in the gallery below that we show you how to build one of these exact pens, this very same type of lid, mesh insert, to where you literally don't have, unless you see like floating dead bait that you should remove and get out of the pen, you can do just what I'm about to do here, which is simply take that food, throw it in, and then you'll see these guys are about to go to town. I'm gonna say this is the equivalent of cube steak, whereas this might be a nice ribeye. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna take a ribeye over cube steak any day. And as you'll see with these guys, I think the reaction will be the same. And then fresh fish for me is essentially I think the filet mignon for the baits. It's a little bit more time consuming, you know, to stay up, to keep up with the fresh caught fish. When you've got it, use it. And if not, just take a little spoonful. And here we go. That stuff's going to disappear about as fast as it goes in. And if I get some caught like that, you'll see on the mesh there, just come back and hit it with a brush, hit it with the hose, let it fall in, and trust me, none of it will go to waste with your bait once they're in the well feeding and they're seasoned. Can you tell which one they like the best so far? Little piranhas, man. But guess what? We take good care of them, so they take good care of us when we need the return favor out on the rip. Whether it's fun fishing, tournament fishing, whatever the case may be. So I'm gonna give these guys a couple more treats, and then I'm gonna show you the trick that I've got in my back pocket. Stand by. All right, time to pull the cat out of the bag. You so fancy. Cat food, guys. Pate. We've got 2 cats in my house. There's never a cat guy. Although my wife has helped me turn the corner a little bit. And so this is a savory salmon feast, little salmon pate, but also a good source of protein, good source of fat, fiber. Same things that keep animals healthy in the wild, keeps you and I healthy if we eat healthy. No different for these bait fish. And you'll see, again, this is something that it's easy, it's clean, doesn't take a lot of effort, so it's pretty cost effective. And either between this, the dry food, the krill, the fish, it's going to be a mix of any of these types of things twice a day on a daily basis. So check this out. Look at these guys, just crushing it. Now that this is the third option here, first go around, which is why I introduced the dry food first, because they hadn't eaten anything. And I feel like on camera, after giving them krill, then maybe a little bit of this, they might have been a little bit more picky on the dry food. So I just wanted to show that to you guys first. They're getting after it as far as the cat food is concerned. But I can also see that with what I've given them in dry food and what I've given them for krill, that they're not like just as insanely crazy as they were to start out. So they'll show you as well, you know, just like you and I get full, they're going to get full and probably be a little bit pickier, a little bit more selective in the feeding process. Let's check these guys out. Woo-hoo-hoo! Fired up. Likes that salmon. Somebody likes that salmon. So, and again, the easy thing with this is you realize you got nothing in the bait freezer. You happen to be at CVS, you happen to be at Publix, wherever. This stuff is everywhere. So it can at least get you by. Is it my go-to every day? No. But if I want to make sure the bait's getting something to eat, you know, because if they're not properly fed, you'll see they get this, what we call like this lizard tail effect, where as they get malnourished over time, the body will just kind of shrink in towards the backbone or the spine, and they almost look like a lizard. And obviously that's not a healthy bait. It's not going to perform for you well in the water. So that's why it's important just to keep them fed. You know, the better, you know, nutrition you can give them, the better baits they're going to be for you. But if you're watching this video and you're a guy that's got some experience with this, be curious to see, you know, how do you feed your bait? Is there any other things that you do differently? Any other cool ideas that you have, or you know, tricks that you kind of utilize on your own? So drop a comment below, and hopefully you guys found the video informative. We've got lots of other great how-to videos like this on the channel and more to come. So thanks for watching. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you for the next Fish Blue Water video.